Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just waiting for Instagram to allow me to go live. I'm gonna get started. I have two batter props that I'm gonna throw into the YouTube Shorts, just like we have been doing. Two of the guys that we have today are very strong, so make sure you watch out for the YouTube Short that's coming out later today. So right now, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna show you guys one play that I do have. It's very strong. There is one little contradiction, and I'll tell you what that is once I get there. If you haven't done so, make sure you get the free picks. Link is in the description. Also, make sure you subscribe. Yesterday was a little bit of a slower day. I said how there was a lot of contradictions and I didn't like a lot of the stuff. So I did not take the Cubs. I said to, be careful and stuff like that. I showed why the reasoning why. And sure enough, they won 8-1, but I didn't take it. So I'm not going to claim it as a win. And then I did say CJ Abrams. I gave that away. He did get a hit. However, he was very expensive, so I ended up waiting for the game to go live, and then I was going to catch him live, and he ended up getting a hit on the first at bat, so I was not able to catch him live. So that actually didn't hit, he won. Whoever placed that bet did win, but I didn't end up getting it. And then the Jaren Duran, I think I heard he got hit. I didn't watch the game, but I heard he got hit with a pitch, and that killed one of his at bats. He didn't get a hit. So whoever parlayed this together didn't get a hit. So I ended up taking him. I took his one pitch, or I'm sorry, one to get a hit, one hit. I took him straight up, and he didn't get a hit. So overall, having said all that, I had only one play yesterday, which was Jaren Duran and the CJ Abram. But like I said, I didn't get a chance to play CJ Abram, so Jaren Duran was a loss. So overall, I just had a one loss play. All right, let's get into it, guys. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. Check out the link in the description. Click on free picks also. There was three games that I was looking at heavily. The Guardians versus the White Sox. The Guardians are not that good at all. They have strong batting, but recently they've just been sucking. I haven't won a bet yet, but you give good intel. Keep going, brother. Are you saying you haven't won a bet with me or just in general? Because we just came off a 20-0 run, and then we had a losing day, and then yesterday was just one loss for me. So I don't know. All right. Anyways, look at this. Guardians, the line is moving. 83% of the money's coming in. Everything is looking good was looking good for me for the Guardians. However, even the pitching, Logan Allen is very decent. Then you compare that to Smith. Overall, Allen is much better. The bullpen is much better as well. The hitting is somewhat better. It's not crazy. You can see 15th ranked versus White Sox 26th. So it's not a big difference there. Guardians are 6-4. Overall, in the last 10 games, Guardians are 7-3. The projections are very tight. And you can see Guardians actually lost or didn't cover the last two games right there, the two little red circles. Overall, the Guardians are supposed to win 72% chance. And it does say that the White Sox should be batting in the ninth. They're at home, and what that means is that the books think that they will be losing the game. So they do have better pitching. They're even on. They're very slightly. It's going to be a very close game. It should be It should be a very close game because the pitching is strong, the bullpen is strong, and then the batting is pretty much the same. And overall, the one thing I didn't like, and I'm staying away because of this reason, is the Guardians to go under 8.5 hits. So it's a pretty heavy odds that it's saying that the Guardians are not going to get 8.5 hits. And that's the reason I'm staying away, because everything else doesn't make sense. And then over here, it does say that the White Sox are going to go over 7.5. So let's see. Yeah, because I mixed some games. Okay. Yeah, so it's always more of a risk to parlay it all the time. So that's why yesterday I went with Jaren Duran by himself, and then for me to get the better odds for Abram, I was going to catch him live. But like I said, he ended up getting a hit the first at bat. So overall, my strategy was go with Jaren Duran straight up, catch the other dude live, but I was not able to do that. And I made a whole video on how to catch these batters live, so you're not watching the game. So make sure you check that out. All right. So here we go. Reds This game I stayed away too. The Reds were looking very, very good. So let me just be honest here. I'm not going to go with the Guardians. They were looking very good up to that point where it doesn't make sense why everything is if everything is matching, everything looks better. Why is this so tight right here? Plus the bullpen is somewhat the same, batting somewhat the same, and then you get to even the bottom of the ninth says that the White Sox are going to lose, and then the hits are very, very low right here, under 8.5, heavily favored. So I don't like it. I stayed away because of that reason. So then we look at the Rockies versus the Reds. As if you've been here any amount of time, you know I like to fade the horrible teams, and White Sox is one of them, and the Rockies is the other one. So the Reds, it does look very heavily here. 213, it went all the way to 235. Everything was looking good. Look how much money this green over here is coming in heavily towards the Reds. The line was still shifting. But once I got to this right here, you can see this guy, Burns. He has 0-1. He's only played 2 games, and he lost one of them. So actually, he's only played 1 game, and he lost. So 15 strikeouts, 8.1 ERA. That is horrible. So he's struggling. He's struggling very, very bad. Even though this guy is not that good and the Rockies suck, this guy has 0, or not 0, but 1 game under his belt. So I don't like it at all. I'm going to stay away just for that reason alone, just the ERA on the starting pitcher. And besides that, the Rockies actually have somewhat of a decent, not horrible, they're bottom 10 for batting, but so are the Reds. So let me put it this way. If the Reds were any better, meaning they would have got, if they had stronger batting, I would have went with them even with the weaker pitcher. But it's not the case in this situation because they're actually right around the same rank as the Rockies. So I hope that makes sense. Let me see. Let me keep going. All right. So you can see this is it is saying the projections do show that the Reds are going to win. It does say that the Reds are not going to bat in the ninth, so that does say they're supposed to win. The over on the 8.5 compared to the over on the 7.5, that means more hits for the Reds. I'm not risking it. I'm not taking it. Okay, so this is the game I am taking. So like I said, guys, if you haven't done so, make sure you click on subscribe. Also click on free picks. So the game I am taking is going to be the Blue Jays versus the Athletics. So this is a little bit of a risk, but I'm taking it. And I'll tell you exactly why I'm taking it and why it's a risk. And also, the 2 batter props are going to be posted inside the YouTube short. So if you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube and click on Beast Sports Picks, or type this in, Beast Sports Picks, or go to the link in the description, and then make sure you get the free picks right there. All right, so let me get into this. The Blue Jays. They started at a 141 odds, and then it got worse at a 145. What that means is that they were favored, and now they're more favored. You can see how much money is coming in, how much of the bets is coming in. 88% of the bets, 95% of the money is coming in on the Blue Jays. Overall, it's very light. It's a very small move from 141 to 145. It's only a 4-cent juice, which is not good. But you got to think about this, that they have a lot of money coming in. So the line is already adjusted. I hope that makes sense. So let me keep going. Scherzer, Max Scherzer played, I think, 2 or 3 games. I don't know why it's not showing it here, because the last time we went with him, he actually won the game. So this record should show a 1-0 right here. And he was injured. He has a bad thumb. He actually went. I talked about this guy heavily the last time we played it with the Blue Jays with him as pitcher. So he basically, what I'm trying to say is that he did have a bad thumb. They actually knocked him down to the AAA. He came back, and then he won that game. So it is a little bit of a risk because he does not have strong stats right here because he hasn't played. But then you look at Cervino. He's going against Severino, and this dude Severino's got 2 wins, 10 losses, 5.3 ERA, which is very, very bad. So this guy is a veteran, Max Scherzer, even though his stats don't show that, because, like I said, he was injured. But he's healthy enough to come back and play. All right. Not only that, but look at the bullpen. So even if this dude starts struggling and they have to take him out, these guys, the bullpen, the relievers, they're much stronger at a 3.57 compared to the Athletics in very poor condition at a 5.59. I hope that's making sense. So this guy, even though he's somewhat injured or came back off of injury with no stats, this guy sucks. And then you compare the bullpen for the Athletics suck compared to the Blue Jays. Now look at this, the graph for the offensive metrics, meaning the hits for the Blue Jays. These guys, they have been dipping off. So I will tell you, in the last 7 games that we've been like looking at this team, they were very, very strong. They were like top 10, top 5, and now they dropped all the way down to 20th. So that is the risk that I was telling you about. The Athletics are getting a lot more hits recently. They are ranked 8th with an 8.02, 802 OPS on base percentage compared to the Blue Jays on base percentage. So that is the risk. Okay, just so you know, the stronger pitcher, but he's injured, came off of injury for the Blue Jays, and then the batting is a big mismatch on the Athletics right now. So the Athletics are increasing while the Blue Jays are decreasing. So that is the risk. But now we look a little bit deeper. Blue Jays are 6-4 in the last 10 when they've played each other. Blue Jays are 6-4 in general. And then this is a big one here. Athletics at home, when they've played at home, they've only won 35% of their games. Okay, so they're hitting at a 35% hit rate at home. Now you look at the overall picture. Like I said, the Blue Jays are coming off a hot streak. It's a 5.2 projection compared to a 4.5. So there is a win probability of 68%. And then right here is heavily too. It says Athletics to bat in the 9th. So they're at home, and it's saying that they should be batting in the 9th. So that is telling us that the books believe that the A's will be losing the game. Also, I do have one of the guys for the batting that's right here. I actually took him as a 1 hit, and that's coming up on the YouTube short. So make sure I have another guy in there too. But this guy, he's very, very good. He's very, very heavily juiced to get a hit. But look at this. These are all on the Blue Jays because, like I said, they've been very hot compared to these guys, which they're decent too. But Blue Jays do have a chance with this weaker pitcher. I hope this makes sense. So strong batting versus weaker pitcher. But then again, the Oakland A's are somewhat hot right now. And then this guy, Max Scherzer, is a little bit underrated. So that's my opinion, and that's what I'm going with. Overall, there's just showing all a bunch of injuries and stuff. So it is a bit of a risk. I'm telling you straight up, I'm taking the Blue Jays. I already took them, and it is a risk. So be careful with that. And like I said, the other ones I was looking at is the Reds, but I stayed away for the reasons I mentioned. And then the Guardians, I also stayed away because of the reasons I mentioned. The other super hot teams to look out for right now is the Red Sox. These guys are extremely on fire. And what was the other ones? Give me a second. Actually, I'm not going to try to pull it up. Well, you know what? Let me pull it up. If you guys want to stick around for that, I'm going to give you guys the worst teams versus not the worst versus best, but I'm going to give you the top 5 teams that are super hot right now compared to the worst teams right now. So give me a second. So here it is. Check this out. Boston, this was as of yesterday, okay? So don't quote me on this as of the day before yesterday. So this could have changed as of yesterday. Give me a second. So you got Boston right here. Elite. They're ranked 1st in offense. They're ranked 2nd in pitching. They have a 6-0 record. So they have a perfect balance between best offense and elite pitching. And then you have Toronto Blue Jays. Excellent. That's the one I'm going with today. Offensive rank, they were 7th, but now they dropped to 20th. The pitching rank is number 3rd. 6-1 record, outstanding pitching, solid offense. Then you got the Royals, excellent. Batting 5th, pitching 8th. Milwaukee Brewers are actually a very hot team, even though their batting sucks. You can see it's 25 right here compared to their best pitching. So it says right here, elite pitching overcoming poor offense. And then you got the Mets over here. They actually lost yesterday, but I was looking at them heavy. They're ranked 4th in batting and 20th in pitching. So I'm going to show you guys the worst teams, but make sure you subscribe, guys. Take advantage of the free picks. I post a lot of free stuff. Make sure you take advantage of the free picks. Also, go to YouTube and type in the word at the @ Beast Sports Picks. Make sure you follow us over there. Let me look up the worst, and then we will go from there. Give me a second. The worst. Okay, here we go. So here's the worst teams right now. The worst teams are the Nationals. Yesterday, I was looking at the Cubs heavy, and then I didn't see this until later that day. So I didn't take the Cubs, like I mentioned, but they were playing the Nationals. If I would have saw this, I would have went with the Cubs. But check this out. They're 26th, super poor record, 13th in batting, 26th in pitching. It's a pitching collapse. They're one of the worst pitching right now. You got the Dodgers, 29th in batting, 27th in pitching. Complete breakdown on both sides. You got the Yankees. I was actually looking at the Cubs again today, but I don't trust them at all. But look at look at this. They're going against the Yankees, which are 2nd in batting and 28th in pitching. So their elite offense is being wasted by their worst pitching. So their pitching is losing them the games. St. Louis, 24th in batting, 29th in pitching. Colorado is very poor. They've been very, very poor this entire season. 18th in batting, 30th in pitching. So that's why this is the reason why you see me fading the hell out of Colorado pretty much every other game. So once you see these stats like this, it makes a lot of sense. So again, guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click on the link in the description. And if you want to check out the VIP and the Discord, we just threw out a play for the Discord for the first time as far as like putting it out on the VIP and stuff like that. So if you haven't done so, get on the Discord because we throw some plays out there as well inside the Discord. So I appreciate you guys, man. Let's have another great day. And yesterday was a little bit slower, but today we do have, I believe it's, let me check. I believe it's 7 batters. Yeah, we have like 7 batter props that I threw in for the VIP already. 2 of them are going to be given away inside the YouTube short. So check that out. All right, guys, let's have a great day. Thank you.